It is the first 24 hours of Aetherdrift, and I am very excited about this card, Marauding Mako. People are excited about this card going back all the way into Legacy. But is it actually good in Standard, and is it good in Standard on a budget? That's what we're going to find out today. Welcome to the Attic. ManaDad here. It's the channel where we explore what's fun in Magic, mostly on Arena. On Arena, Aetherdrift is here. It's day one of the format, or the first 24 hours, because I wasn't able to complete this video in just one day, so I had to come back the next day and finish it off. But that's what I'm going to do for you, because I know some of you out there are very excited to play the new cards, but maybe have a budget. And that is what Marauding Mako is all about. If there's a one-drop that people are excited about in Legacy formats, then chances are it can be good. But can we make it good in Standard? That's the question. So let's take a look at Mr. Mako, first of all, before we get to his friends. 1/1 Shark Pirate for 1 red. Whenever you discard one or more cards, put that many +1/+1 counters on this creature. So it works with cycling, and it itself has cycling. So we're also using this nice Aetherdrift uncommon Grease Wrench Goblin as a 1-drop. It's a 2/1 for 1 red, so nice aggro card there. But your Savannah Lions has upside, in this case, Exhaust, which is a single-use ability, 2 and a red, discard up to 2 cards, then draw that many cards, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. So in a pinch, it's a discard outlet. It's also just our 1-drops. Okay, so that's our 1-drops. Then our key 2-drop here is the Scrounging Skyray. It's a 1/2, similar ability to Mako. Whenever you discard one or more cards, you put that many +1/+1 counters on this creature. So the fact that it's flying is really key. Could we build a mono red deck with the Mako? Yes, but I think having another creature that has the same ability makes it more build-aroundable, and the flying is really, really key, as you're probably going to see in the game. So how we support that? Well, Scrapwork Mutt is another card that doesn't probably get its due, just a common 2/1. It enters, you may discard a card if you do draw a card, and it has Unearth. So it's great to discard because it just sits in our graveyard. We can get value out of it later. Plus, it's got the discard outlet for us. So those combined make a little power pyramid. I don't know what you're going to call it. We also have from Aetherdrift Kickoff Celebrations. I put in 3 of these. This is an enchantment for 1 in red. This is your standard effect where you discard a card to draw 2 in red. But in this case, we've got the Start Your Engines ability. If we do get up to max speed, we can get haste with it. It's got the discard for Marauding Mako and for the Skyray. It's good. It's good. Stick around to the end to get my evaluation of all the cards in the deck, and definitely wait or jump to the end if you have to find out the win rate of this deck, because that will be probably key in whether you decide you want to play it. So how else are we supporting our Marauding Mako and our Scrounging Skyray? We do in Aetherdrift get a couple cards that have cycling for just 1 red. So that was what I was looking for. We've got Sky Crash. It can destroy an artifact, which is sometimes useful, especially because people are playing a bunch of artifact decks here post Aetherdrift. And we've got Clamorous Ironclad, which we probably will very rarely play as a vehicle. We're just using it for the 1 red and cycle. Then, because it's a budget deck, I try to keep it to 10 rares or fewer. I'm not counting the mana base in this case, because we do need to have some pretty fast mana to kind of just get out and aggro. But what we do have supporting is a lot of one-of, fun-of rares. And so I'll go through these, and you can kind of listen in on what these cards are and think about, okay, like maybe I actually do want to run more than 1 Monument to Endurance and more build around that. There's certainly ones where you build around Rona, Herald of Invasion, and Inti, and a bunch of other legends, and we kind of have a little bit of that in this deck, but it's not going all the way. So let's take a look at some of these one-of fun-ofs. We've got Kitsa Otterball Elite, which is the copy number 2 of Rona, Herald of Invasion. As if you watch this channel, you know I don't like having to legend rule. I don't like draws where you're kind of legend ruling yourself. So I'm trying out one of Kitsa, one of Rona. They can't legend rule. Malcolm can't legend rule just because they're one ofs. Malcolm is kind of fun. It's flash. I haven't seen anybody else running this, but it is a pirate, so you get pirate synergies, and you do have the flash ability, which is nice because people have a lot of removal, including sacrifice-based removal, as you're going to see in the games. Malcolm is a 2/1. Whenever it deals combat damage, you put a chorus counter, then you draw a card, discard a card. So Malcolm, another discard outlet. Unfortunately, it's combat damage, so you're not going to get it before to make these guys big, but it is another cheap legendary creature that has that discard ability. Fear of Missing Out, not a legendary creature, but fantastic creature. 2/3 comes down, discard a card, draw a card. Then it has a Delirium ability, and because we're running, you know, artifacts and enchantments and all kinds of stuff, we can actually activate Fear of Missing Out. And if you wanted to, you could build this deck much more around the Delirium ability of Fear of Missing Out. Also, Artist Talent. There's ways to combo off with this. I was not happy with how this performed. Spoiler alert for the end, but it's there. Keep that in mind. Artist Talent, 2 mana. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. That's another option to really kind of just go off once you get a Mako or a Skyray going. More exciting is Kiora the Rising Tide. 3/2 enters, draw 2, discard 2. And then you can make an 8/8 blue octopus. As you'll see, we have no problem filling up 7 or more cards in our graveyard and making the octopus. So that's pretty awesome. Not a rare, but we do have Refute in the format, which is a counterspell with draw a card, discard a card stapled onto it. So that's another thing that you can get people with. Brass's Tunnel Grinder is legendary, so it is going to trigger Rona, which untaps whenever you cast a legendary spell, and lets you discard any number of cards from your hand, and then you draw that many +1. And eventually it can flip and do cool things as Tekutlin. I did flip this in a game, so it's totally possible to do with this deck. Monument to Endurance. This is the one that people are talking about quite a bit. 3 mana artifact. It does come down and does nothing by itself, but once you're discarding cards, you get to choose one that hasn't been chosen this turn. Draw a card, create a treasure token, or each opponent loses 3 life. So if we do have a handful of Sky Crashes and Ironclads, you throw this down, and then each turn, cycle one of those, boom, boom, boom. It doesn't take that long to hit people with 3 at each of these becoming basically a lightning bolt to face to win the game. We also have Captain Howler in the higher mana slot here. 5/4. This is another one from Aetherdrift. Ward 2, pay 2 life. The Ward 2 is really key on this. Whenever you discard one or more cards, target creature gets +2/+0 until end of turn. That includes himself. For each card discarded this way. And whenever that creature deals combat damage to a player this turn, you draw a card. So, great way to pump damage with our discards. Great way to draw and refill our hand. Love Captain Howler. Again, just a one of fun of, so I'm not legend ruling ourselves. And so we can test all these out in the strategy. Finally, Overlord of the Flood Pits. You probably know this one. It's blue, and 1. We almost never cast it for the 5 mana. Comes down, you draw 2 cards, then discard a card. And it's a 5/3 flying that opponent just sits and tries to figure out how to deal with, and is pretty good protection because obviously this deck is very weak to board wipes. And so having an Overlord of the Flood Pits that can sit back, not die to the board wipe, and then come onto the board as a 5/3 that's drawing us a bunch of cards is pretty good strategy. So I've yammered at you enough. Hit that thumbs up, hit that like, hit that subscribe if you haven't already, and let's go see this deck, the Budget Izzet Cycling deck, in action. Budget Cycling in Standard. Okay, well, we got 2 Sweet Baby Rays. Let's keep it. See what Liaxi is up to. Oh no. Is this just going to be the usual Dimir deck? Say it ain't so, Liaxi 92. Guess I can play the Verge. It's just a 2-drop creature, no big deal opponent. Nothing to worry about. No need to remove it. Let's just get flood pits going. That's something they can't remove. And we don't need the reef for them at the moment. Yeah, I'll just maybe. I think we try to play Rona and Skyray on the same turn, so maybe we can get around the Momentum Breaker, but if they're running Momentum Breaker, they're probably just the usual. There is Refute. A scrounging Skyray. Yeah. Multiple threats on board. What's the opponent gonna do? They did nothing. Okay. Interesting. Board wipe. We're just gonna pop that. Bring it back. Well, we're all in on our sweet baby Ray. Oh, and we got another baby Ray. So let's attack with Ray. No opponent. Didn't you know this was a cycling deck? Please be out of removal. Okay, they have nothing to do but attack us with the Restless Reef. That's good news. And they give us the scrap work mutt in the graveyard. Thank you very much. Ooh, Mako. Time to give this game a makeover. And we'll ditch Kitsa. Ditch what? The Refute or the Tunnel Grinder? Let's ditch the Tunnel Grinder. Refute could be handy. Smack you for 12. Take them from 20 to 8. And the Flood Pits is online. Alright, let's hope they weren't holding back with the board wipe. Because if they were, we're going to be in trouble. Storm Chaser's Talent. Have any spells to get back? Another Momentum Breaker. Sorry, Mutt. Oh! Taken down one of the top decks, if not the top deck in the format. Sweet Baby Ray. The Sweet Baby Rays for the win. I'll trade for the elf. Yeah. I was eating chips. Forgot to hit record. But you can surmise what has happened so far in the game. Played Mako turn 1, they played elf. Well, let's see what they got. Flopatch Recruit with Offspring. Mako Mutt. Discard the Grinder. And the question is, do I attack with my Makos? Leave them back, I think. Don't really have any other way to grow them, but maybe I can chump with the Mutt. Collector's Cage. I can immediately activate it. No, they can't. Yes, they possibly... No. They'll need one more turn. Yep. No attacks, okay. Go cycling. Another Sky Ray. So this is where we get tricksy and attack, and then if they would try to trade with the Paw Patch recruit, we can cycle the Sky Ray, but they don't, so we won't. Alright, so they can put a +1/+1 counter on one of their 1/1s, flip over whatever it is that's in there. Is it a board wipe? It is a Sky Knight Squire. Okay, that's like the best case scenario for us. Overlord of the Mistmoors is not a great scenario for us. That's good. We got another discard. Alright, so they can block us in the air. I think we're just all in, though. The longer this game goes, the worse it is for us. I have to put something in front of the 4/4. Okay, yeah. We trade 2 for 1, 2 for 1, get through for 4. And then we have a mutt in the graveyard that we can do some shenanigans with next turn. Let's see, they could have another Overlord. That would keep them alive. Squire can get 3 counters. Oh, got him! Playing some Budget Cycling. Pedal that bicycle on a budget. Just throwing stuff at the wall, see what sticks here. I guess. Hold these back. And we could cycle them turn 1, but we got our Gut Wrench Goblin. Why would we need to? We have like 0 interaction too, by the way. I think we're gonna get absolutely mauled. More +1/+1 counters. Maybe they'll attack with their guy at least. They don't have the removal. I'll block. Okay, with another Goblin. Back in the air. What do we discard? This guy? And cycle this. But yeah, NT's good, man. Already made our land drop though. See if we can just go all the way with Sky Ray. Ray in the sky. against Saki Ops. Saki Ops, thinking hard. Almost tempting to double block on the Glimmer, but I guess we're going to block. 4. And we play that post-combat weird. And the board wipe. Well, that probably does it for us. Do we want to play this? Because we'll lose so much life. We need a blocker. They just deal 3 with the creeper. So sweet. Yeah, they can just deal 3 on block with the creeper. Okay. I am determined to make budget cycling work. We're gonna show it. We're gonna show it in action. One of these games. We'll say, that looks cool. Because it is cool. Against the old bunnies. Wonder if we should have offered that trade. Oh, okay. Maybe it's not bunnies. There's some kind of weird value engine in here. White 1-drops. And this will untap Rona. Play goblins, and then yeah, that's the turn. Fleetfoot Swordmaster. A 1-drop that can be a 3-drop. They're just gaining super lot of life over there. Why don't we find flyer, please? Let's send these guys in. Yeah, we can start clearing up the ground a bit. Here's the Dillo. Foul Familiar. Undisguised. So that's just a 1/1 cat? Okay. Well. Opponent, I guess, was impressed by it. Budget Cycling. Day 1 of Aetherdrift. Testing out cycling on a budget. No Mako. We have our early drop of the Grease Wrench on Diabolino. We will find our way to something. I think we can lose this mountain. A little bit of double blue. Spire Bluff Canal will cover that. And temporary lockdown. This doesn't look like a great matchup for us. And another Spire Bluff Canal, eh? Well, let's ditch the reef. Actually, let's ditch the canal. So that's a tap land from now on. And we'll play another Grease Wrench Goblin. Maybe opponent was premature? What are the chances? So there's one temporary lockdown, there's often more. We have the need for speed. This can give us haste. Shieldred, hey! Our deck folds to Shieldred, so luckily we had the answer. We could Mako. We could easily have a second Shieldred in the end. Let's just ditch and draw. Guess we'll leave back. Sunfall. Opponent is just here to make sure nobody has any fun. Alright. 2 cards in hand. Tunnel Grinder will flip once we have 3 or more boar counters. That's cool. Caretaker's Talent. At least they don't have the land. What do we think? Are they just full of removal? Should we hold back the Grease Wrench Goblin? Possibly. No. Need to get to flip this now. Urabrask's Forge, yeah. A nice little combo with the Caretaker's Talent. Well, we will discover X, but it will be 0. Oh no. We get the Mako. That's cool. Then let's activate this. Attack for 2. And get removed. Get removed. Seriously. Get out of the play queue, man. Regal DK. You're just trying to get free wins on everybody testing their decks. Yeah, at least they would be flooding out a bit. Ugh. Well, we should get a Discover trigger here. Destroy target artifact. Is there an artifact on the battlefield? Put in hand. Cycling. And a mutt, but actually we should have kept that in hand because we don't want to play the mutt just yet. Alright, let's hope their last card is not a board wipe. If it's not, we might actually win this. If it is, we're gonna scoop. No board wipes, no board wipes, no board wipes. Maker's Talent, not a board wipe. They spent too much mana now. I guess if they get the temporary lockdown, we're still sunk. But they don't have to wipe for it. Draw a card. Huh. Well, I guess that... Well, wait a minute. May discard a card. We don't have a card to discard. That was a big mistake not... We can still discover here, though, right? I'm supposed to put that in hand, actually. Yeah, I think we're supposed to put that in hand. And they have a soul partition. Well, actually... Can't do the cycling ability with that, huh? Okay, well, just draw your whole deck, opponent. Why don't you? Does it have haste as a... oh yeah, so they just win? They copy it? Oh, okay. Opponent could have won. Let's just be sitting on a bunch of removal. Come on, come on, come on. No! Yeah. Seven damage in the air. Guessing they have removal. Let's see. Yeah. So close, yet so... Okay, so I did move to the play queue with this deck because I started out 0-3 in in the ranked queue. I did tell you, stick around to the end. This deck has only an abysmal 27% win rate, although on the play 44%. I think maybe with a little bit of adjusting and tightening up, you could get this 50% or above, and this could be a legitimate deck. But as built, as constructed, with all the one-of fun-ofs, it's not quite cohering. A lot of people still on the play queue playing the Dimir decks. We did manage to beat one of those, as you saw. Some people actually scooped right away, so that's how we ended up winning 6 games with this deck. Otherwise, without people on the play queue just scooping for no reason, this deck would probably even have a worse win rate. That is what it is. But I think it's a really fun deck, so I'm sharing it anyway. Marauding Mako is great. It would probably be good to have like Monstrous Rage or something to give it trample. Some combat tricks would be nice. We could, I don't think on a budget you can do the Rona build around because it just requires too many rare legends. So I think if I was rebuilding this deck now, I would take out Artist Talent, Rona, Malcolm, Kitsa, maybe even Inti, although I think Inti works very nicely with the deck, and then just put in more of like the red aggro stuff. Might put in more Monument to Endurances. Multiples of these is not necessarily bad. I do like Kiora still, even if you're not doing the Legends build around. Bress's Tunnel Grinder is kind of 3 mana, does nothing the turn it comes down. I don't know if Standard at the moment is slow enough to support Bress's Tunnel Grinder, but if it is, it could be a good player. So those are my thoughts. Really liked Scrapwork Mutt. I thought that was really good. Kickoff Celebrations was just okay. And because there were some times when we wanted to sacrifice it and give haste, and it worked. But otherwise, I think just 2 mana, do nothing to add to the board is a little harsh. Deck might need a few more lands. I went pretty low on lands, thinking this would be a kind of an aggro deck. But and maybe you can get away with this amount of lands if you do more 1-drop stuff with it. Other than that, leave your comments. Let me know what you think. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I was recording the right screen. Oh, good, I was. Okay, so thanks for joining me here in the attic. I've been ManaDad, reminding you Magic is a game so fun, even dads can enjoy it. Adios.